everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of the Will Burnin Podcast. I'm Steve. This is my brother Troy. We are the Gen X Transplant Bros, which we always get together on Friday for this edition. But this week we ran into an issue, which is really what we're going to talk about. We've run out of things to talk about because nothing seems exciting. Everything's sort of flat, mundane, and it's like, what am I supposed to Google? What is everybody fired up about? It's like the world became vanilla, and we'll unpack this as we go. But before we get going, Troy, how you doing today?
Doing great. Having a great day for a boring guy.
Great day for a boring guy. I knew today we do. All the introductions were always special. I knew this would be a little different. This is a very sensitive topic, but what I would like Troy and I to discuss out loud right now is what it's like going through getting a terminal diagnosis, okay, or terminal prognosis. Okay, the diagnosis is severe. The prognosis is what they think might happen. The prognosis is terminal. Okay, you're going to die from this. This is going to be the end of you. Okay, and for Troy, I think it was just the one, which was a liver failure. For me, I had 3 concurrent by the time it all ended. And through my 9 years of it, and Troy's like maybe 2 or 3 tops that you had to struggle with it, as far as leading up to the, getting it cleared, the whole thing was about, when I get back, this is what I'm going to do. It's going to be, I'm going to get healthy again. I'm going to do all these things right and everything. And I'm not saying we haven't done since, but since coming back, I have felt a couple of times I've said to myself, and again, I don't want this to be at all. I don't do the last thing I ever freaking want to do. I've written about this so much about you cannot ever give up. And particularly when it comes to this, I've literally got my book right here. The book, This Is How It Feels to Heal, that I wrote about not giving up when you have a terminal diagnosis, all that. But since I've come back, there's been times when I said, had I known this is what I was coming back for, I don't know if I would have said fight in 2010 until 2019 when it ended. I think I would have, if I had seen this picture then, I'm wondering if I would have said, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah, I do
Troy,
too.
Yeah, so take off from there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, knowing how sick I was, but then trying to figure out what was wrong. And then I had ambition, like, oh, when I get better, this is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to try these things. And then it happens, you recover. And for me, I don't have any interest in doing any of those things I wanted to do. So it's just been kind of boring and wonder, like, I'm glad I have my kids. I have a reason, but man, life sure does get boring.
It
Like,
does. And go ahead.
for like music, I thought I'm going to play guitar and get in a band and do that kind of stuff again. And it's just weird how almost immediately everything I wanted to do was just gone. I didn't want to do any of it anymore. I wanted to write more short stories, travel more, play guitar better, start new things. And I've started new hobbies and that they come and go with like the wind. They just, hey, this is fun. And it's all of a sudden. You just go out to do like photography, go out to do some photography and like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right. Well, there is so many, for people hearing this, there's a number of things I could think of that running people. Well, maybe you picked the wrong thing. Maybe you should have tried longer. Maybe that was a false expectation, getting attached to an outcome, all kinds of other things. But at the same time, there's really 2 sides of that. The one that really got me though, is when you were saying, when I come back, because it's like when you're told you're going to die, if you make it through it, you've been, forgive the term, born again. And so you go back to your default base. youth, what you did, the things you did. You want to go out, you want to meet girls, you want to have a fun time on the beach, have sex, whatever it might be, or you want to, get the fancy car. Why not? Since I'm going to be retired, I'll buy a Chevelle and restore it to the 77 Super Sport, and I'll get the glass packs and all the rest of the stuff, the nitrous in the tank and everything else. And I'll make sure this time that the radio, when it's played too loud, doesn't hiss. But that's not real. You're not going to be, just because you have a 10-year, like for me, when I missed the entire teens. In 2010, it happened. In 2019, it ended. And when I got done, I was 52. I missed my 40s basically. And so the jump from 30s to 50s, with those other kinds of expectations of youth and what restarting would be, were part of the whole mythology that I built about being able to survive through something that everybody told me, including my doctors, was going to kill me. But those myths ended up being false, the ones that I was going to die. The myths of me coming back and doing those things are not necessarily myths, but they're not realities in the same way. And are we able to adjust? It's a hard thing to explain unless you take several years out of your life and be gone and have this kind of stuff go on, and then come back and then expect everything to be fine. And for us, we're not complaining. I'm not complaining generally. But it isn't. And I still, to this day, from time to time, wake up and say that if I had known in 2010 that this was the life I'd be living in 2026, I would not have said, "I don't buy your myth of death," which is the first chapter of that book, which is literally what I said the first time somebody told me I had 6 months to live. I would have said, "Fine, I'm gone."
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does kind of suck.
I know. I mean, it's just
But I wonder also if it has, because we got the transplant, if it's just also aging, that this just happens when
yeah,
you get
valid point.
older, whether you have a transplant or not.
And that's a valid, thank you. Thank you, Troy, for that inclusion, you could say there. I mean, everybody that hears it can hear that part of it. It doesn't require this to be there to feel that to some degree. And again, I'm not trying to influence anybody's decision that might be in this space. Like if you're in that right now if you're at any point where I was from that 2010 diagnosis till January 3rd, 2019, when I got transplanted, last thing I want to do is knock you off the boat. You're going to make it. But the expectations of what it's going to be like when it gets over it's more like the day you're born and you're learning how to walk, not your day you're born and you're going back and having the youth of going to rock concerts and everything else.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I really think my expectations were extremely high, thinking I'm going to be youthful again, and I'm going to be retired, and I'm going to do all this stuff. And again, I'm glad I got the transplant. I'm glad to be alive.
Well, there's no question for all
But
that.
it's just
That's no part of what I'm saying. Anybody gets that vibe, no.
It's just that my expectations of what life we're going to be like were a bit too high.
They did right. That wasn't part of the brochure. That when you go in, for me, you're making $30,000 a month in 2010 to getting out of it broke and having $300 in the bank at age 53 with no negotiable skills because you've been a .com guy your whole life. You've never worked for anybody. Go back out there and figure it out, dude. Well, that's what I did. Why am I in Colombia today? A lot of that is that. And I love being here. And thank God for Colombia, because had I had to exist with that resource base and rebuilding the way that I did, I wouldn't even be able to get my toe in. I wouldn't have been able to do anything. I would have been literally kicked to the curb at the VA office in Pittsburgh with $300 in the bank and good luck, here's your bag of meds. That was really all I had. There was nothing else. And I'm not complaining. I'm not a victim of anything because I did not plan for that. How many people do? And even if you do, can you survive 9 years? Here I am making expat videos telling everybody to have 3 months of resources. How about 9 years?
Yeah, boy. Oh, boy.
So, and I'm not trying to play look at me all this, but my point being in this whole thing, I sometimes feel like, while I was out standing on the hill keeping this thing going, all of the rest of what the fuck was everybody else doing? It's like everybody loves talking about how times change, right? Well, go back to 2010, as crazy as it might have been then, right? Maybe Obama's in, is he? I don't know. I don't even know. Anyway, so again, I've never voted. I don't pay attention to that stuff, but it wasn't like it was when I came out in 2020, right? My first year back. We have freaking Black Lives Matter protests. We have COVID. We have 57 different genders. We have, I'm not supposed to say this. And if I had said what I just said now, I probably would have lost the channel. And all this social control, not government control, social control, the people around you that tell you how to speak, what you can say, what you can't, what all this other stuff is, and how it bleeds over. It was like, golly, here I was simply trying to wake up each day and being thankful to wake up again, and then hoping that one day I would get a transplant, and then I did, and being forever grateful to my donor. Meanwhile, you people are arguing over whether or not I can identify as a fucking cat.
Yeah, now it makes me wonder if I was so caught up in my job and my work that I just wasn't paying attention to all this shit that happened until I got sick and then get well. And now I've got all this time and I pay attention to world events more now. Like, are you fucking kidding me? No, we're not kidding.
As far as that goes, what are you going to detach from all reality? What are you going to do? You're just going to pretend. Look, I don't vote. Okay. I've already said I don't vote. So I don't get wrapped up in politics. Okay. Does that mean that I can't, connect in other ways? Well, on top of that, during my sickness, I distanced myself even further by refusing actual medical stuff for the first 7 years of it. Okay. And in that time, I went all the way out. I went to shamanism. In fact, the title of the freaking book is This Is How It Feels to Heal: A Shamanic Journey Through Recovery, Cancer, and Life Challenges, right? I was on my way to Bali when I came to Colombia. I mean, I was all the way there. Tune out the world, man. But the world's there. And when I looked at the world again, I was like, what the fuck happened to the world? Because, I mean, it was just, to me, I don't know if I'm making too much out of this, but it was mind-boggling to go through the experience of trying to hold on to a reality of life and then coming back and not only being older and financially different, but society around you has turned into some kind of Ringling Brothers Barnum Bailey circus on constant display.
Yeah, I wonder if I had tuned out the world for so long that what happened as I was tuned out, it's almost like events in politics and the world decided, hey, like it tuned me in. You're not going anywhere, buddy. You get over here. No, don't want anything to do with you.
There you go. There's your George Carlin. No matter how new age you get, old age is going to kick you in the ass. George has always been able to sum it up so well. At any rate, okay, let's let the pressure off a little bit. First thing, what happened in Troy and R's experience is exactly that. It does not replicate any kind of standardized experience for anybody else. And if you are going through one of these things right now, absolutely fight your fucking way through it. Fight, don't give in, poke death in the eye. You don't depend on anybody but you. If you have a spirituality, I'm not trying to step on toes, but at the end of the day, your choices are what's going to do it. And when you come back, your choices are going to do the same thing. I've tried in the way that I have. You heard me on my expat video yesterday talking about sometimes it's a drag. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Sort of the same monotony of every day. Like, okay, now what do I do? Am I supposed to look at the Andes today? And oh, how beautiful the coffee plants and bananas are. And oh, look, there's a tarantula. I mean, they're there every day. And so it's not a lack of appreciation of the beauty. It's just, I don't know. It just seems that in the safety culture world of over cuddling, or I don't even know where I'm going with this. It's just the adventure factor is gone, and that is not dependent on age.
Right. It's gone. That's what I think my problem is. Where did it go? Come on back.
You have two sides of an argument and everything. It's going to be politically this side or politically that side, so we don't have any room for anything there. Musically, well, either you're outdated or it's like everything is so freaking full of labels and generalized ideas. I just wish it was easier to flow. I actually Googled today because there's, I'm going to be moving soon because of stuff. Actually, in a month from now, I'll be from this location moved again, but then I'm going to be moving out of the country within a year. I actually Googled this phrase. Where is there a place on the earth that is sort of like the United States in the 1980s as far as the music and the overall vibe? It returned two places in Mexico. I won't say their names, but they're interior. I haven't been there. I've been on the coast twice. I've been in Mexico for about 18 months total on 2 visits, one time up for a whole year, one time 6 months, but on opposite coasts. These are in the interior, and they're like expat bubbles, which is nice. I would love to be able to listen to like my favorite playlists again from like walk into a bar in 1984 and have the music playing like that. But it's also going to be a bunch of people probably sitting around talking about Trump and Kamala or whatever the fuck they're talking about. And so that part I don't want. So the next one was like Lisbon. And I was like, oh, that sounds fascinating. Let's go over there and have everybody squirt us with guns and tell us to go away because we're supposed to be tourist expats and gentrifying. I'm like, well, that doesn't work. The frontier is gone from the earth. We have no place for people like us to go anymore. Adventure is a thing of the past. Now it's all safety, judgment, labels, and it is certainly not the person I was that got myself to being in a condition of almost dying. And it's not a world that the person that made it through it really enjoys.
No. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe it. It's like waking up to something you didn't expect and now it's here and you don't really like it.
You said that waking up, I heard dun 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 dun. Wake Up Dead from Megadeth.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Troy, let's wrap it up there because what I don't want us to do is dissuade anybody from, wanting to get through something like this. That's the last thing I want to talk about. Really what I wanted to talk about is for those of you on the other side of it, have you felt this way? And this is not what is called survivor's guilt. Survivor's guilt is when you feel like, man, I shouldn't be here, all that. No, it's not that. I earned the right to be back. I'm the one that poked death in the eye, insisted I would not die, and depended on nobody but my own physical human self to get through that whole thing with the assistance of doctors and everybody else. But I'm the one that did it at the end. Okay. Just like I got myself there, I got myself out of there. And when I got back, things were different. So that's what we're getting at. Was it worth it?
Yes.
Was it worth it?
It was.
I think so too.
Spend time with my kids. That is a good thing too. That being, sober now, I spend more time with my kids, on the phone, and I get to know them now. Whereas before, I didn't really know them very well because
there you go.
Of the foggy mind. So having that chance to get to know my kids is great.
Right. So at the end of the day, the best reason to come back from all this is for others.
Yeah. And yourself.
And yourself. Right. I said that with a little bit of snark, but all right, Troy. Well, anything else? That's it. You done?
No, that's it. I got nothing more.
That's the end of the sloppy week here. We'll get back to normal behavior next week here on Free Will Burnin Podcast, whatever that is. So till then, everybody, take it easy. We'll see you next time. And
adios.
Adios.